Hi everybody! Thanks for coming today. We're going to do story time. And today I'm going to read some books about your imagination. I have 4 books that I'm going to read, one of which I think you've probably read before. It's a favorite. So you'll know when that comes up. But the first book that I'm going to read is called Also an Octopus. And it's written by Maggie Tokuda Hall. And it's illustrated by Benji Davies, and it's from Candlewick Press. Every story starts the same way, with nothing. There's nothing there. And every story needs a character, any character you can imagine, like a little girl, or an adorable bunny, or better yet, an octopus! An octopus who plays the ukulele. But in order for it to be a story, and not just an octopus, that octopus needs to want something, like a sandwich. He's saying, "No onions, please." Or a friend, "Oh, hello." Or a totally awesome shining purple spaceship, capable of intergalactic travel. Yes. But that ukulele-playing octopus with intergalactic dreams can't just get a shining purple spaceship from, say, the drugstore. And just why not? Well, that would be silly. No, you're silly. And also, that would make for a very short story and a very dull story. For the story to be as totally awesome as a purple spaceship, the octopus has to earn it by, say, building it out of soda cans and glue and string and umbrellas and glitter and waffles. I'm not really qualified to build a spaceship, but it does smell like waffles. That's so nice. But what if the spaceship doesn't work? Then the octopus will try again, but this time with some help from an adorable bunny. Ta-da! Bunnies, while good friends, are not rocket scientists. Not usually, anyway. So the totally awesome spaceship isn't totally awesome yet, and it's certainly not capable of intergalactic travel. It's just a big mess. Thanks anyway, chum. By now, the octopus is starting to give up. The octopus feels heartbroken, as if the octopus will never, ever get on a totally awesome, shining purple spaceship and fly to other galaxies. The word you're looking for is despondent. Oh, he's so sad. So the octopus plays the ukulele because music is good for the heart. But as the octopus plays, a strange thing happens. The resolution to the story begins to take shape. Resolution means the end, or something that comes together. It's a good word. People come to listen to the ukulele playing octopus. Friends, strangers, lots of people. And a few of those people, they're rocket scientists. It's true. Rocket scientists who don't just build rocket ships, they also play the saxophone, tambourine, trumpet, and lute. So what happens next? That's up to you. When one story ends, It's just making room for another story to begin. And whether it's a story about a little girl, an adorable bunny, an octopus, rocket scientists, or a band, you've already got what it takes to make that whole story. Because every story starts with the same thing. Do you remember what that is? Just a little bit of nothing. And everyone has a little bit of nothing. It's true! And that's the end. That's a good one, isn't it? So maybe you can make up a good story. All right. So our next book is one of my favorites and probably one you've heard before. And it is Where the Wild Things Are. And the story and the pictures are done by Maurice Sendak, and it was published by HarperCollins. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. He's being naughty. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to Where the Wild Things Are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and they rolled their terrible eyes, and they showed their terrible claws. Look at those animals. They are wild. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." You guys ready to have a wild rumpus? Okay, you got to get up and have a wild rumpus. Roar! Look at him howling at the moon. Stomp those feet. Roar! Oh my gosh. Look at the wild rumpus. Look at him go. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around and from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars. They gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found supper waiting for him. And his supper was still hot. So that's where the wild things are. That's such a good book. All right. So the next book that we're going to read is called This is Sadie. And this is by Sarah O'Leary. It's illustrated by Julie Morstead. And it is from Tundra Books. This is Sadie. No, not that. That's a box. Sadie's is inside the box. Wait, do you hear? Sadie says she's not inside a box at all. "I'm in an enormous boat," she says, "crossing a wide, wide sea." Here is Sadie now, looking for land. Only she's not looking that hard. Sadie sails all the way around her room and back again, and it still isn't even time for breakfast. Sadie has learned to be quiet in the mornings because old people need a lot of sleep. When it is time to start the day, Sadie tidies her room, and then she chooses a dress. "Don't tell the others," she whispers, "but you are my favorite." Sadie's perfect day is spent with friends. Some of them live on her street, and some live in the pages of her books. Sadie has been a girl who lived under the sea. She has been a boy raised by wolves. Sadie has had adventures in Wonderland. And she has played the hero in the world of fairy tales. This is Sadie. You probably think it's a tree, don't you? It is, but way, way up at the top is Sadie, chit-chatting with the birds. Do you see her legs? Sadie has wings, of course. They are just very, very hard to see. Still, she knows that they're there. Maybe you have them too. Have you checked? Do you have wings? Sadie's wings can take her anywhere she wants to go, and they always bring her home again. The days are never long enough for Sadie. So many things to make and do and be. Sadie likes to make boats of boxes and castles out of cushions, but more than anything, she likes stories because you can make them from nothing at all. This is Sadie, and this is her story. That's the end. Isn't that a good one? It's fun to make up stories. All right, so we have one more book. And this is a good one. This is called Beekle. It's by Dan Satant. He writes awesome books, and this is from Little Brown and Company. So it's called The Adventures of Beekle, the Unimaginary Friend. And this one, the Caldecott, see that right there? I think it was 2 years ago it won. That means that it had the best artwork. So he does really cool pictures. All right, here we go. He was born on an island far away where imaginary friends were created. Here they lived and played, each eagerly awaiting to be imagined by a real child. Every night he stood under the stars, hoping for his turn to be picked by a child and given a special name. He waited for many nights. But his turn never came. His mind was filled with thoughts of all the amazing things that were keeping his friend from imagining him. So, rather than waiting, he did the unimaginable. He sailed through unknown waters and faced many scary things. But thinking about his friend gave him the courage to journey on. Until he reached the real world. The real world was a strange place. No kids were eating cake. No one stopped to hear the music, and everyone needed nap time. Then, finally, he saw something familiar, so he followed. He had a good feeling about this place, but he looked everywhere and he could not find his friend. He climbed to the top of a tree and looked out, wishing and hoping his friend would come. But no one came. Look at him up in that tree. Do you see him? He thought about how far he'd come and how long he'd waited, and he felt very sad. Then he heard a noise below. Hello? Hello? Her face was friendly and familiar, and there was something about her that felt just right. At first, they weren't sure what to do. Neither of them had made a friend before, but after a little while, they realized they were perfect together. And she names him Beekle. Beekle and Alice had many new adventures. They shared their snacks. They told funny jokes. The world began to feel a little less strange. And together, they did the unimaginable. And that's the end of that one. All right. Hey, thanks for coming to story time today. It was so nice to see you. And I'm going to be posting a video with a craft for us to do. And it's going to be making a puppet theater, which I thought would be fun. And then you can imagine and make up your own stories. So I'll see you in another video. Have a good one. Have fun using your imagination. Bye-bye.